Alright, so today we're about to go out and prune up some raspberries. A couple things you might need: some gloves, a hat, you little bitch. Alright, so we're out here in the garden. It is February 17th, and I'm a little bit late into pruning the raspberries, but we're going to get rocking on that today. As you can see, it's an absolute mess. It's not too terrible, but as you can see, you know, there's a lot of all that density in there is going to lead to, you know, things like disease, fungus, molds growing, and then we also need to really thin this row up. That's kind of the big thing that we're going to do today. Alright, so we're out here about ready to prune up some raspberries. A couple of things you're going to need: gloves. Raspberries have, you know, usually got thorns on them. The ones we have aren't too bad, but then you're also going to need some pruning shears. That'll be easy for, you know, just close stuff like that. And you also want some loppers so you can actually get into the canopy, get in here and, you know, be able to do that without getting too scratched up. So basic things that we need to do here is let me see. Actually, you're going to need a tape measure too, because first step that I'm going to take is actually measure up the rows. You want to thin those up to about 1.5 feet to 2 feet wide. So of course I'm going to push it to the limit, go 2 feet. Starting with the thinning rows, we'll do that, and then we'll start by cutting out all of the dead wood, so anything that looks like it's kind of grayish, and we'll do some close-ups of that once, you know, when I do see those. So this is a perfect example of the dead wood. It's basically gonna look gray, and this is at least 3-year-old wood, so we're gonna get that out of there. It's no longer good, so you definitely want to remove that. So we're just gonna go through. I'm gonna get some dead wood, get all the dead wood first, cut everything that's outside of this perimeter, and then we'll you know, go through more details as we go. Alright, so I'm just going to walk you through the garden here, just show you a quick update of what we've been doing. You can see down here we have definitely cleared out a lot, and basically, you know, just still working on thinning it down to 2 foot wide rows. And then, you know, as I've been going, I've been taking out the dead wood. So as you can see, this is like gray, you know, well, the bark is peeling. You know, so it's obviously dead wood. It's not going to be coming back, you know, with any more fruit or anything next year. So, so that's really the important part here. Then also, while we're going, let's see. You know, you can see this one's kind of thin, spindly. So I'm just taking out like all the weak ones, leaving the strongest ones in here to survive, thrive. And I just started like kind of augmenting my process out as I was going, so I figured I'd start showing you. But like things like this guy, you can see that's about, you know, about 2 feet tall, and it's way thinner than all the other ones. So those are the kinds of things we're clearing out here, making sure it's less crowded. So as you can see here, we've got multiple thick stems there. So we've just got to like weed out the smallest ones, and then you know, my kind of rule of thumb is going, keeping like anywhere from like 2 to 6 probably 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches between canes, just because there's going to be a lot of, you know, new prima canes growing up this year. So that's something to keep in mind. Look at this. This one already has some buds forming, so I'm very, very hesitant. Our weather's been crazy here in Ohio. So we had like -35 a couple weeks ago with the wind chill. 5 days after that, it got up to like over 60 degrees, so almost 100-degree swing within a couple days. And then we got more snow, and then as you can see, it got warm again for a couple days, so it's just back and forth and back and forth. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as far as on down the road. Once we start harvesting, seeing some, you know, some fruit coming on these berry plants. But so really from here, like, you know, so our first step, we're going to thin the row, take out all the dead stuff, and then after that, then we start looking at, so as you can see, I got a little eager in the fall and started doing that one already. But here's a good example. So this one's about a little over 6 feet high. So basically we're going to cut these guys down to where they're about 36 inches. So, you know, maybe belly button or so, waist to belly button high. So, and then basically that'll just send all the carbohydrates back down to the roots, encouraging more, you know, just more flowering, more fruiting, and just more conservation of nutrients. So I'm going to work through that since it's starting to get a little freezing rain out here. So let's see where we can set this up to where we can see everything. Might even just stick it right down in here. There we go. So maybe I'll come back around. So pruning is really one of the most important things that you can do for raspberries. That's basically what's going to give you the most fruit and the best plants, you know, going forward. So it's important to get all that dead stuff, the weak stuff out of there. Keeping everything in this line here. And, you know, like I said, you really can't be afraid to kind of hurt the plant. These things are super hardy. And, you know, as far as like picking the right ones to cut, it's just a guessing game, and, you know, strongest has to survive. Guess we'll see how waterproof. Oh shit, it's hailing. Like I said, Ohio weather's been freaking crazy this year, so guess we'll just keep going. Alright, so it looks like that's that for the pruning. As you can see, it's a world of difference here. Pretty much hacked the shit out of it. Just again, cleaned up the feet down here. So, you know, obviously I still got to rake all this stuff out of here. We got a nice little leaf covering, which is good. That's going to add some extra nitrogen, build up that soil the soil microbiome, and, you know, basically it's just going to be a natural fertilizer, so that's going to be sweet. You know, we just basically just topped these guys at about 3 feet, and if there were a few that had some branching, lateral branches, so just tipped those as well. So we'll kind of see how everything plays out. Obviously, as you can see, the garden is an absolute wreck right now. We got soaker hose laying out, you know, last year's root pouches. Got some bricks that we're planning on making a path with, and, you know, so really, like, I'd be normally kind of ashamed to show this, but at the same time, like, I think it's just going to be a huge revival from, you know, when we get to the summertime. So as you can see, we got a nice clear walkway over here, so we'll be able to, you know, put some more grass down and just get this looking a lot nicer. We got a bunch of like rice hulls over here, so, you know, it's a garden, so what do you expect? But at the same time, you know, we need to make sure it's nice, and that'll help also kind of help keep disease pressures down and stuff like that. So, you know, we just got shit stored all over the place. bunch of root pouches. I'm actually thinking about just taking this soil and you know, maybe making like a large raised bed right there in the middle, or somewhere around here, and then just using all this soil, dumping it in there, you know, kind of just recycling in that way. And you know, it's just gonna be crazy, the fact that we're gonna be able to feed, you know, probably around anywhere from 10 to, I think, up to 25 people. And obviously it's not all going to be here. Some of it's going to be at my parents', but growing in root pouches and raised beds, that's what's going to help us to our goal, you know, square foot gardening, just making the most space out of what, you know, making the most out of the space that you have. And that's kind of my theme this year, you know, taking on that lean farm mentality, like lean factory, like Toyota does. Or I guess Toyota kind of created that philosophy. But this is another spot we're going to really start to revamp, is like our organization. I've been an absolute monster as far as like organizing. I've been doing a terrible job in here and in the garage, so it's another thing we definitely got to fix. But this is an awesome space in here. I think that we could, you know, I'm kind of wondering if maybe we take this roof off and put on like a greenhouse covering. I mean, the roof snaps on, like the roof isn't even fucking attached anyways, so we might as well rip that shit off. I've got some greenhouse poly film in the garage, so we could easily throw that up there. I think maybe as long as we put like some gutters on it so that our neighbors weren't getting the runoff. And man, I didn't even think about that. I wonder how that's affecting things, but you know, we can see we've got garage, shed right here, so I think we're fine. But yeah, so this is the garden now. It's February 17th. It's a wreck. Got 25-gallon root pouch right there. Might even be a 35 actually. Fuck, let's check it. 25. All right, so we got 25-gallon root pouch there. The rest of them are 10-gallon root pouches. Oh shit. And then we've got 2 fabric raised beds. This is a Smart Pot big bag bed. This is a root pouch hedge pouch used for like shrubs, things like that. Obviously I'm going to garden in it. And we got some other 25 and 20-gallon root pouches. That's handling pretty good, so I guess I'm going to go inside, but that's basically, or I'm not going to go inside actually. Maybe we can get this set up. Well, either way, all I've got to do, I'm just going to go through and rake up all of the stuff from the raspberry pruning. I'll just use this little potato hook, and you know, this is probably one of my favorite tools in the garden. A.M. Leonard, of course. And so, you know, thanks for watching in. Stay tuned. As you can see, this garden transformed from garbage to garden over the year. So thanks for watching in. As always, I appreciate it.